Hello everyone watching this video. Today in this video we'll discuss the 1D motion for NEET and IIT JEE. You know the 1D motion? In your book you will get the motion in the straight line or motion in the one direction, which is called 1D motion, and we'll discuss today the 1D motion for NEET and IIT JEE. So which type of question are asked in the NEET and IIT JEE mostly. So here, these are the basics of 1D motion. In this, we discuss the position of any object and the state of any object. The rest, if the object is not moving or the position of an object is not changing with respect to time and surrounding, then the state is called rest state, and motion when the position gets changed with respect to time and surroundings. And the distance, the total path covered by object, the displacement, the shortest distance, and the speed, total distance upon total time, and the average distance, the total distance upon total time, which all 6 or 7 factors are given in class 9th book and class 11th book again. So these all are easy, very easy, and in the competitive section or competitive examination, mostly they are not asked, they just for basics and for the revision purpose only. So this is the section for theory purpose only, but in the examination the question comes from these two sections. In the first section, in which the velocity and acceleration comes, and in second section the equation of motion comes. So these are the two favorite section from the most of the question are asked in the NEET and IIT both section, and both are very important, and every year or in each paper you may get a question from either this section or this section. So this is very important, and first we discuss these two formulas. So this is the velocity. So velocity is actually the rate, defined it is the rate of change of displacement, which is right as ds by dt. You all know, I don't need to explain it again because you have passed 11th. We have discussed in class 11th, and the acceleration, which is explained by or defined by the rate of change of velocity. So this is dv by dt, and one more formula for acceleration, which is v dv by ds. If equation of velocity is given in time, then we use this formula, and if the equation of velocity is given in the displacement, then we use this, and according to this formula acceleration is v dv by ds. So both are important. Sometimes you get the equation of velocity in the displacement and you don't get what to do, and you just try to do this, but this will not apply there, this will apply there. So this is the section in which you get the question from velocity v equals to like at plus bt square, and for the acceleration you can use easily a equals to dv by dt equals to a plus, and the differentiation of t square is 2b into t. Here you can put the value of t and you can get the acceleration at any time. Sometimes they ask tell the acceleration or give the acceleration at t equals to 2 seconds, or sometimes t equals to 5 seconds. So you can put the value of t and you can get the acceleration at any instant, and you can tell. And here also you can get the equation s equals to at plus bt power 5 plus ct power for anything in the t, and you may ask velocity. When you ask velocity, you need to differentiate it with respect to t once, and when you ask acceleration, then you need to differentiate it with 2 times. So for velocity we differentiate it once, ds by dt will be a is constant here and differentiation of t is 1 plus, and b is constant, differentiation of t power 5 is 5 come in front, and power is decreased by 1, so it will become t power 4, and c is constant, here power come in front and power is decreased by 1, and it will become 3. So this is the velocity, and if you are asked to tell the velocity at any instant or any time, like if you given the t equals to 5 seconds, then you put the t, value of t is 5 and you will get the velocity. And if you are asked the acceleration, by giving this you first get the velocity, and from the velocity you can get the acceleration, which is dv by dt. So the value of dv by dt is a is constant, so it will become 0. Here 5b is constant, and the differential of t power 4 is 4 comes in front, so here 4, and the power decreased by 1, it will become 3, so it will become 20 completely, and this force is constant, and differentiation of t cube is t square is here and 3 is here. So here your acceleration is, and you can put the value of t and you can get the exact value of acceleration at any instant. So that's how you may ask the question, and sometimes they give you the equation of acceleration. Sometimes you get the equation of acceleration, equation of velocity in terms of displacements, like in this format, x square plus x plus 3x plus 4 in this case. Then you are asked to get the acceleration, and in that case you will use this formula. According to this formula, acceleration will be v dv by ds. So first we put the value of v as same is given, x square plus 3x plus 4, and here we differentiate the velocity with respect to s or x. This is the displacement, both are like this is the symbol of displacement. We sometimes use s, sometimes use x. So we differentiate the displacement, our velocity with respect to displacement, and this will be the differentiation of x square is 2x, and the differentiation of x is 1, so it is 3, and it is the constant, so it becomes 0. You can solve it, you can put the value of x, and you can get the exact value at any instant or at any displacement for the acceleration. So these type of questions are asked from these two formulas. So these are the basic formulas from these questions are asked. And where is my duster? Here it is. So these are the type of questions are asked from these two formula, and here we come at the equations of motion. So there are three equations of motion. The first is v equals to u plus at. Here v is the final velocity. If your object start from initial velocity u and it takes time t and covers a displacement s and increased velocity from u to v, then this is the initial velocity, this is the final velocity. So here this is the initial velocity, here, and the final velocity is v. A is the acceleration and t is the time taken to increase its velocity from u to v. So here the velocity of v we determined by this equation, v equals to u plus at. In all three equations, a should be constant. This is the condition for equations of motion. And second equation is v square equals to u square plus 2s, and third equation is s equals to ut plus half at square. This equation will be used when we require one thing and other things are given, like displacement and time is given. And when displacement is asked or given and time is not given, we are not talking about time, then we use this equation. And we talking about displacement and time both, then we use this equation. And sometimes this equation is also used. This is for displacement in n second, or displacement in any second, or displacement in final second. So this formula we use to determine the displacement in n second. So these are the four equations. Mostly three are basics and four we derive from this formula. So we all three use, and from these equations you will given given two or three quantities, and you need to determine one quantity. So sometimes they give you in the examination, you will get some basic data and you need to determine a quantity or a value. But sometimes they give you two equations here, two datas, and you need to compare both of them and you need to determine that value. Like one question I just saw in the competition, And according to that, velocity of one object is u and another object is 4u. Velocity of one object is u and another object is 4u. Here both are looking similar, so I write is 4 here. So first velocity of first object is u and second is 4u, and both are stopped by a same force. Means acceleration in these both cases are same. Stopped, that means velocity is also final velocity is also same. So here you are asked the comparison of time, or what is the ratio of their time or stopping time. So this type of question you may get in the examination. So just you need 3 equation of motion. You just need to select one equation, which one you require. When you are talked about, you are not talking about any displacement, then use this. And you are talked about the displacement, then you have 2 equations. And you are talking about the time also in this question with displacement, then use this. And there is no clue about time, only displacement is discussing in this question, then use this. So these are the simple questions you get, and from this equation, from these formulas I have discussed you. But I came across one very important question from this section, which was the question that in the question equation time was given as ax plus bx square. The equation was given in that question, and you were asked the acceleration. What is the acceleration? So this equation, mostly you get the equation of displacement or velocity in the time, but here time was given in the displacement and you were asked to determine the acceleration. So it is strange, or it is just reverse, but you don't need to panic. You just need to be calm, and you just need to go through your basics. According to that, you are asked the acceleration. So first you need to reach at the velocity. So for velocity we need to differentiate it with respect to time. So when you differentiate it with respect to time, it will become 1, and a is here, it will become dx by dt, and plus b is constant, differentiation of x square is 2x, and with respect to time is become dx by dt, and we all know that dx by dt is velocity. So when the take v constant, it will become a plus 2bx into v. So velocity from here you get 1 by a plus 2bx. So here it is the velocity, your velocity in the displacement, and now you need to find out the acceleration, and you can use this formula and you can get the acceleration from this formula. And so here we use this formula to get the acceleration.